All right, everybody. So this is my guy. Well, first of all, I'm sorry. All right. So this is Nelson with Newleey, and this is a call that's going to be for our school community and just for education in general, so people can know how to run the business, how to have an understanding around the business. And so I had to ask my big dog, my guy Brandon Morales here, who's always showing the company love, Newleey, and who's done a couple deals with us, and we're working on getting him some more. So it's in our best interest to try and keep him happy. So thank you, Brandon, for giving me some of your time today.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's a pleasure. Always down to add value. So look forward to talking to everybody.
Love it, man. Love it. So I know that one of the things that you were just talking, we're talking about is you're building systems and building out acquisition systems. But I want to just hear, or at least let people know your story, how you got in the business, how you got to where you are, and then how that became maybe your specialty and what led to that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just started from the beginning. I've really worked from the bottom all the way to where I'm at now, but started as an acquisitionist with a startup wholesale real estate company that had just opened. Within a year, became the sales director for that company, and then for the last 4.5 years was basically hiring and training and building teams for that company, helping them scale, and basically building sales processes and things like that. So that was my main job for the last 4.5 years was just hire and train acts. And with that company, we did over 8 million, or we scaled to over 8 million, so multi-million-dollar company. And then come June, decided to quit that job, leave that company, and start my own company. And 24 weeks now. Now we've been doing it since about July and it's been going pretty well. We got $149,000 to sign. That should close within the next couple of weeks. So far, so good. A lot of lessons, a lot of failures, a lot of things to learn on. Running my own company, it's definitely a different beast, but I've had the luxury of starting differently because I worked for a company. So I was able to gain a lot of knowledge to be able to prepare myself for being able to build my own company.
Okay. All right. And people that are and not to gloss over anything, right? I want to make sure that people understand this the things that you've done there, starting something and going to 8 million and scaling up is super huge, guys. It's definitely nothing that's easy. But I'll also want you to just start from the beginning for people who may be new, right? They're hearing terms like ac or acquisitions or
Mm,
things like that who may not understand it, right? I had somebody DM me today like, "Hey, I'm going to be in your school meeting tonight. Like, can you tell me this? Can you tell me that?" Like, there's still a lot of people, I guess for us it's old now, but there's still a lot of people who are super new. So when you're getting into this business, what is acquisitions? How does that position work, and why is it so crucial to a company?
yeah, I mean, acquisitions, I mean, once you're getting on that phone, whether it's for yourself or if you have somebody calling those sellers trying to close those deals, that is the acquisitions, right? The acquisitionist is there to do acquisitions, bring the deals into the company. So for a wholesale company, there's going to be different stages, but you have the marketing, the outgoing or whatever kind of marketing you have to find the seller. And then once you find the seller, it's going to be the acquisitionist closer whose job it is to basically get that deal under contract and bring that deal into your company. And that's, once you start signing deals, once your acquisitionist or yourself start signing the deals, that's really when your company starts to run.
Yeah, yeah. Because you can't do, I mean, that's the thing is disposition's a whole nother beast.
Hmm.
Acquisitions like the lifeblood though. It's like I feel like trying to get a business off the ground, and maybe you've experienced this, like getting the wholesale business off the ground. The hardest thing to hire for, I feel all like always was acquisitions, because
Hmm.
you want people to work at the speed that you work at. You want people to have the tenacity you have, and you want them to be on a deal. This is literally in real time. I don't do deals. I'm not working them like I used to, but I have one client that we've just done so much stuff in another state that's my guy. So I have like a an acquisitions guy who if something comes in that's just this state, I'll send it over to him and tell him, "Hey, you
Hmm.
can work it," because my buyer, he will just he's actually going to property today. He'll go to it, he'll walk it, he'll take the contract, he'll do
Nice.
everything. He just is like, "Hey, just find me something." And my acquisitions guy, this is just today, found this property. The ARV is like 240. The guy's already at 130. I'm like, "All right, well, did you
Oof.
did you get a contract on it?" Oh no. Well, he's sick today, so he's gonna call me tomorrow. Well, did you even see if we could do anything? Oh no, well, he's got two people walking the property tomorrow. He's got people
Oh
walking it.
man.
Did you tell him that we can get our guy out there to walk the property like today? Oh, well, I didn't know if he was going to be serious. Like it's driving me
Oh
crazy. So
man.
then he didn't sign a contract. And then I followed up with him today, like, have you talked to the guy? Do you know what's going on with him? He's like, oh, well, he didn't sign anything. And so but he's got two people walking it today. So that's a second day. Did you tell him that we have somebody out there that's looking? Did you do so again, acquisitions is something, and I'm not in the business fully, right? But it's something that where
Mhm.
you're always going to be like that front end of the deal. It's like your baby when you first get a
Oh
nurturing
yeah.
that buyer, and you're like, dude, what are you not even doing? So it's the hardest thing with
Yeah.
acquisitions.
Especially when you're spending the money on marketing. Like that's the one thing where I guess I've had to get used to because when I was with that company, it was an endless amount of leads, right? For myself and
Hmm.
my guys. We were spoiled. So now that I'm the provider and I'm the one paying for the marketing and I have to figure out how to keep these leads consistent, it's just a whole different level of respect. And I got a lot of respect for those guys too, because sometimes we take it for granted. But yeah, a lead like that, that would drive me crazy. I would have to step in and get on the phone with this guy and like, listen, I'll be honest, I don't want you to meet with those other people. I'll be straightforward. So what, if I can give you everything you need, what needs to happen in order for us to do business today? What do you want to see happen here? And
Yeah, yeah.
it's just being direct and asking the right questions.
And that's what acquisitions is. So for and people that are scared to get on the phone, right? What tip? Because I just today I had a guy. He's like, "Are you going to show us like what we say when we get on the phone and what do we do?" So for you, what do you do? Like you said, you moved your position titles from you started as acquisition and they saw the gold in you, right? And then they moved you to running the business. How did you train, teach, coach acquisition people to get on the phone? I think one of the biggest things we see, people are new, they're scared to get on the phone. How do you get them over that hump?
I mean, you can't be afraid to fail. The only way you're going to learn in acquisitions is by failing. You're going to get your teeth knocked out, you're going to get dragged. It's like most people, it's going to take realistically about 6 to 7 months to really get to the point where you're a killer closer and you're consistent. It takes a lot of time, and that's what people don't understand. And I think the reason being is because everybody portrays this to be like a quick money, get rich quick. It's super easy. Anybody can do it. Just because the barrier of entry is basically doesn't exist, it's super low, doesn't mean that it's easy. And we
Yeah,
can't be honest, it's not easy. It's not easy getting somebody to sell the biggest asset that they're ever going to own over the phone without ever meeting you. I just
yeah,
some people don't think about that. Like put yourself in a seller's shoes. What would you want to hear if somebody was trying to buy your house? So I think a lot of people are afraid to get on the phone because one, they're afraid to be told no. That's something that you have to get over. You have to get over that, especially in sales. I mean, every no is closer to a yes. So you want to facilitate a no. So
yeah,
it's really a mentality switch. Once you can switch that and just get away from, all right, every lead that I talk to, it has to be a deal or my life is ruined. If I don't sign this motivated seller, my whole week is
yeah.
going to be screwed. Like once you can get away from that mentality and just really not care about if you lose the deal or not and just focus on being direct and honest with these sellers, that's when things start to change. But it takes time and it
No,
takes
it
some
does. And
uh
I 100% agree with you. I tell everybody in life, for most people, the largest thing that they're going to buy and sell is going to be their house. And
yeah.
so if you go into the process just thinking how I'm going to make 10 grand off of this or how I'm going to get them to sign a piece of paper today, it doesn't work that way. I always say if you want to make a sell every time, sell gas, right? That's pretty much the only people that are doing it every time. And that's what I think people who are new getting into it, they don't understand that you have to have a follow-up sequence, a nurture sequence, and all these things, right? And like, I think one of the best ways for people to understand is like if you ever went to go buy a new car or vehicle, once you fill out something online for that vehicle, or once you walk into that dealership, they get all your information. They're calling you. The guy's calling you all the time. He's texting you all the time. And they're doing that for at least the first week or two to try and see if you're interested in buying that vehicle because they want you to remember it. And then people come back, some people don't. It's the
Hmm.
same thing with houses, but you've got to be even on top of it even more because they're not going to need the car in 2 weeks. But their house, it might take them 3 months, right? It may take the car prior 2 weeks. It might take the house person 3 months, but it's your goal to follow up with them. And so I'm glad that you said that because I think a lot of people, like you said, they it looks sexy. They want to make some money, and they,
Yeah.
you know how it goes.
And
So,
just my bad, I don't mean to interrupt,
no,
but
no, no, you're good, brother.
just to piggyback off that, right? You mentioned like having the mentality like, oh, I hope I can make 10K off the steal, things like that. That gets in the way of having a real genuine conversation with value. If you could just go into every call with the mindset of, all right, how can I help this person? You know, these people, again, putting yourself in a seller's shoes, they're probably only going to do one off-market transaction in their entire lives. And I tell the sellers this verbatim. Listen, you're
Yeah,
probably only going to do one. Most people we work with will only do one off-market transaction in their entire lives. So my job is to answer any questions that you may have and make sure that you feel comfortable enough to make the best decision for yourself. So feel free to ask anything. Like you go into calls like that, you're probably going to have a better time with people opening up and having better conversations instead of just thinking about me. How can I make this quick 10K, this quick 5K? What do I got to do to make money? That's where people mess up, and that's where it takes people a long time to really get
very
deals.
true. Very true. You know, I always liken it to like when you meet a female, right? If you go into it thinking, all right, when are me and her gonna, link up and bring her back to the crib, like she can sense that. She can feel that, and that will probably wrap that whole thing up pretty quick, right? But if
Yeah.
you usually, funny enough, it's the guy who's like, I don't really care what we end up doing. Like, I'm just here to help you out, have a good time. It's like, you gotta beat them off with a stick. But I liken it, I liken it to that.
I like
So
that.
when you're and again for people that are in our community or just maybe watching this for the first time and they're thinking, we're focused on acquisitions here. So are you training people to follow a certain script? Are you teaching them to just kind of I think some people think if I have a script, I got to follow it to the T. Every time
Hmm.
it's got to be this way. When you're training a new person to be acquisitions, are you training them to stick to the script just this way, a loose framework of a script? How are you training them to get on the phone and to get from the conversation from A to Z?
That's a great question. I mean, for me personally, I think it's important to start with the script, especially for somebody who's honestly anybody, even if you're coming in new, even if you're coming in with knowledge, like everybody has a different sales process, and it is important that you have a sales process to be able to close consistently. I truly believe that. So how I typically do it is when you come in, you're going to stick to the script until you can get through the script and make offers and have a good conversation. And then once you're able to do that and you know the script like the back of your hand, you understand the structure and you understand the sales process and getting a seller from point A to point Z. Once you can do that consistently, then at that point, yeah, start putting your personality in there. If you want to change some things that you feel works better, by all means, the script is just a guideline. But for somebody who hasn't done this before, like you don't know anything.
Yeah, you
So
don't know what you don't know.
yeah, the script is the guideline that's going to help you grow and going to help you close deals. So for now, for the first 2 months, read that script word for word. Like read it word for word, get through the process, make your offers and get comfortable with it. And
Yeah.
once you can actually feel what it's like to take a seller from point A to point Z down the sales funnel, once you can feel that multiple times, then you're ready to start maybe doing a little bit of things on your own. And I think that's kind of why some people have such a hard time because they're all over the place. You know, they have no
Yeah.
structure, they're not on script, they have no sales process. Like a lot of these people who start, they don't know how to close, right? Like unless somebody tells you or teaches you, like once you have a seller who's ready to make that decision, a lot of people don't know what to do. Like, wait, how do I close this? What should I say? And
Yep.
that's why I think the script is important to start because it tells you exactly what to say, how to close, how to take them into, the signing. That way you can at least get used to it first and then start implementing, your own personality and things like that.
100%. I think you nailed it on the head. People don't have a sales process. And even when I worked at Lowe's and I was the district talent guy, we did the hiring, right? Even at a retail place. There's a sales process that they want you to walk people through, whether you're doing um, you're supervisor and you're helping people with this, or you're doing this, or you work through people that want curtains or blinds or things like that. And so I think people, like you said, they look at wholesaling and they think they're just going to get online and call some people, but they don't understand you have to know how to open the call. You got to know how to, walk them through where you want them to go. I think people don't understand that sales is a skill set. It's not just like you call people and get lucky. You have to take people on a conversation. You're leading them to where you want them to go the whole time. Now they're of course pushing back, but that's the whole dance with sales. Then, like you said, then you've got to be able to close them. And
Hmm.
you can't just close everybody on buy low, sell high, right? I just want to get it for cheap as I can. So
It
you have
doesn't
to be
work like that.
listening the whole time. You cannot be listening to speak and respond. You have to be listening to understand and help it. So I think you hit the nail on the head. Is a lot of people don't have a sales process or anything. They just get on the phone and think they're going to wing it. So if someone's looking for a sales process, where did you get yours? Where did you recommend somebody find one to start understanding?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I wrote mine. So my
Okay.
script that I use is a script that I wrote just because I've been writing scripts
Yeah.
for so long now. So I use my own script. Now, I will say everybody in the wholesale industry has a similar script. Some people say certain nuances different here and there. It's all pretty similar. So I mean, you can find scripts on Google. Eric Klein gives away his script for like 99 bucks, I think, or sometimes even free. Like just find a guy that you can relate with. They all give them away. Uh, and then just figure out how you can get it. A lot of them give it away for like 50 bucks or, something like that. So find a script you feel comfortable with and then stick to it. Learn it like the back of your hand and really practice going through that script all the way. And until you can do it consistently, then, you'll know you're ready when you're ready.
Yeah. Okay. So you got in the director role, you started helping them scale up and you started running a team. So people who get in this role, if they're following this conversation, they've got on the phone, they got a little confidence on the phone. They know they got to go through their 100 no's to try to get to their yes, and they're going to stay on the phone and stay confident. Now they even have a script that they can follow and they understand that they need to have a sales process. And now they want to hire somebody and start to scale up. How did that work for you when you were doing it with your company? I don't know if you're scaling up right now, if you have people and just what your personal business that you're doing, but how do they get to there? How do they manage that, and what does that look like?
Yeah, I think right now, I mean, just where I'm at right now is I'm trying to figure out if I'm ready to do that and when I
Yeah,
should. It just depends how you want to go about it. I'll say with that company, typically we were hiring 2 to 3 people at a time because not everybody's going to stick.
yeah.
Some people are going to fall off. Like this is, again, not, I don't want to say not everybody can do this because I don't want to like project that, but it takes a special kind of person to be successful at this, and to be a killer and be consistent. So, when I was hiring, the biggest thing is I want to find people that I can mold. I don't personally don't like hiring people who are already in the business. I want to find somebody
Oh
who,
yeah.
again, like, listen, wholesale real estate changes lives, right? That's why a lot of us get into this because we're working 9 to 5s, we're making 20, 30K, 40K a year tops. We want to change our lives. So for me, when I was hiring, my best people were people who had no experience, no real estate experience, were coming from, bartending jobs or maybe another sales job, but they were making, maybe 30, 40, 50K at the most. Those are the people who I can mold to be killers, to be hungry. And once they see those $10,000 months, once they start seeing that 6 figure a year, you're helping change their lives. And not only that, but those are the people who want to stick around and help you build your company. So if you are thinking about hiring, personally, that's what I would do. And that's what we did with that company. And our best people do. When I left, the I won't say her name on here because I don't know, and that company doesn't want me to talk about them. But this girl that I brought in, she was super hungry. She was coming from another industry. She was coming from bartending, and she was like my protege. I trained her. She became a killer. I trained her how to do renegotiations, so she was doing price drops on deals that we had. And now that I left, she stepped into my role, and she's potentially going to become their next COO. So, you know, that
That's how
changed
you
her.
that's how you do it.
that changed her life. That
Yeah, yeah,
completely
yeah.
changed her life. And the best people that we've had that stuck around were people like that. The people who didn't stick around were people who had experience,
Yeah.
who,
They knew
thought,
better.
yeah, they know their way. They want to do it their way. If they're not making 10K a month within the first 4 months, they're out of here.
Yeah.
Like, just the wrong expectations. So when I start building my team for myself, that is what
Yeah.
I will be looking for. And we had a lot of success with that when I was building teams for that company. So that's how I went about it. Yeah, and a lot of people like hiring
Hey,
people with experience, but
it's to be honest with you, hiring people and managing people, it's not a specialty of mine. And I think it takes a special person to be able to do it. And that's probably why I'm yelling at people over here right now, because it's just it takes a lot, man. So
it
and that's
does.
something that I had to learn myself. I hope that other people learn is that you've got to be, and it's not that you're treating people or whatever. It's really you have to have the process fine-tuned so that you can give it to somebody else so that they can then follow the process. So again, guys, we're saying the word process a lot because you got to have those things in order. Because if you bring someone into your chaos, it's just going to be chaotic for them, and
Hmm.
then they're going to probably leave because they're like, I don't, he doesn't know what he's doing. I don't know what I'm doing. It's not going to work. So people that are getting into this, I want them to understand, start right, start with the process, and then go from there. Something else that I wanted to ask you, even now in your business, because they jump into the business, they think boom, boom, boom is going to happen. I'm going to make money. Even right now, I know you've got us as a lead source. I know you've got another company as a lead source, and I think you're even doing online ads as a lead source, and maybe even a fourth one. I'm not sure. Even with all of those things, how many leads does it is it taking you, and just everybody's leads that are coming in, how many leads is it taking you to get a contract?
Mm, it kind of varies between the lead sources, but from our main source, we're signing like one out of every 20 to 22 right now.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that's having, and then you have other lead sources. I know of us, you got one contract. I think you said it may have fell through out of around 39. And then I don't know what your other one is. So I just want people to understand, because I'm always transparent, right? Everything's are, whatever the leads are, they are. But I want people to understand that you're getting in every month. About how many leads are you getting in every month?
Right now, probably a little over 200.
A little over 200. And you're doing how many contracts a month?
I mean, this month we have eight, eight
Eight
contracts
contracts.
this month.
So that's 200 leads, guys, to get eight contracts. And that's lead sources from every which way. So I really want people to understand. And he's saying that he's doing one contract about every 20, we'll just say 20 leads that are coming in. So I really want people to understand that and I don't even know if you even want to put this out there. Ad spend a month. Where are you at? Do you even want to put that out
We're
there?
spending, no, I will. Yeah, let's be, so they know. I mean, we're spending, I think right now, spending about, I think now about 6,500 to 7,000 a month, which is nothing in this space. Just so everybody understands, that's nothing in this space. If you want to do 100K months consistently, 200, 300K months, you're going to be spending a lot more than that.
Yeah.
And just to put it into perspective for everybody who's watching, like myself and my act that makes calls as well, we've been doing this for a long time. He's a killer. I would like to consider myself a killer on these calls. Like the industry average for cold call is you're signing one out of every 30 to 50 leads or so. That's the industry average. It takes a lot of leads to get one contract. So when you're calling these leads or you're starting your marketing, you really have to understand the data and run your business based on what the data says. If you want, especially in the beginning, if you want to sign a certain number of contracts, you have to have a certain number of leads coming in, and you have to know what the industry average is. A lot of people like get cold call leads and they're pissed that they're not signing the first five leads that came in. It's like, brother, even the best of the best, like the data is the data. Even the best of the best are not going to sign one out of every 10 cold call leads. It's just not possible. Some people aren't as motivated, yada yada. Like if you're good, you can shorten that number down, but most people are going to be in that 30 to 50 lead range. That's what
And
people got
that's
to
what I
understand.
that's and that's what I want people to understand is out of the 200, you guys have gotten eight, and these are killers on the phone that are experienced, right? So I say that to say if you're a new person and you're just starting off, if it's taking them 200 to get eight, you're going to need in 1 in 22, if you're brand new and you've never done anything and you're just thinking you're going to do a deal in your first 100. I want people to understand that even the leads that he's talking about, they're not fresh cold call leads. I don't believe most of them you're either dealing with leads that someone's talked to, warmed up and given you, or leads who've raised their hand, right? So guys, if you're cold calling just from like I pulled to listen, I'm cold calling, you're talking about you're you know what I mean? The
A
number goes
brother.
from 30 to 100 easily, right? And then
Easily.
and so I just want people to understand that's why you in this business, you pay for what you get, right? You got to pay for some marketing, you got to get it. And if you don't, you should understand. If you're just going to pull a listen call, it's going to take you this long. If you're going to pull a list and get them warmed up from a caller, it's going to take you this long. And if you're going to get people who raise their hand, it's going to move from here to here, right? Because I try and tell people all the time, people who raise their hand in sales, you're going to get some golden nuggets in there. But from what I see a lot of times is even the inbound leads, they have wonky foreclosure deals. They have leads where they own a mobile home, but they don't own the land, but they own the home
Hmm.
and they just want to sell the mobile home, or them and their wife are getting divorced and she's not going to allow him to sign a penny less than this. And
Yeah.
they're motivated. They want to sell. That's why they filled out a form. But it's a issue that sometimes it's not that it's unsolvable, but it necessarily doesn't always make sense, right? So you
Yeah.
guys need to know whatever marketing you're going into, just stay consistent with it and stick with it and get as good as you can because the like he said, the data is the data. You've got to work it, and that's all there is to it.
100%. Doesn't matter what lead source it's coming from. There's going to be pros and cons for every single one. You just have to see it through, keep it consistent, and keep those leads coming in and keep working them.
Awesome, brother. Well, I wanted to do this call so that people can understand a good idea of acquisitions, how it works, how you can scale up a business, or how you can at least scale through the acquisitions and understand that. Um, if people want to work with Brandon, what markets are you in? Where can they lean on you with? They got a JV deal, or they want to learn something, or they just want to they like what you said, they want to work with you. We'll just start off at the top. What market are you in? Where are you focused at in this business?
Yeah, well, I mean, we recently went nationwide, but I'll say if you want to work with us, again, I don't ever want to steer anybody the wrong way, put you in a position not to succeed. Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri, is where we have like prime time buyers closing as soon as title's clear, all cash, close quick, super easy. So I would say if you have a deal in Kansas City, Kansas, Kansas City, Missouri, we can get it closed like that.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. And if people want to reach out to you and they just want to see the journey that you're on, because if you guys don't know, Brandon posts like week after week where he's at in his journey. It's always inspires me. I think he has at the end of his clip, he has this video where it's him doing his music, which I try to tell these boys that I got a little music talent on me. So I now at the end of my YouTube, my video clips, I put an old beat that I had or something with the Nelson with
Let's
Newleey in
go.
there. So he inspired me. But if people want to find you and they want to work with you, where's that at?
Yeah, follow me on Instagram, TikTok at Brandon closes everything.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Anything, I'll wrap it up here. I don't want to keep you too long. I just appreciate you even taking the time to kick it with me and allow me to get some of your time. Is there anything that you want to say before we just wrap it up?
No, I mean, look, for anybody starting new, just know that there's a lot of free game out there, a lot of knowledge. This is free game right here, but myself, you can go on my page and you can see exactly where I started. I've documented from day one when I quit my job, and you can literally follow exactly what I did and try to do the same exact thing. So there's a lot of free game out here. There's so many gurus on YouTube, YouTube University. Like, get the knowledge, apply the time, and just understand. I want to say this. Understand that the person who you are working the 9 to 5 is not the person that you need to be in order to make hundreds of thousands of dollars doing wholesale. So understand that and make sure that you take massive action to change every single day. And as long as you can do that and take baby steps every single day, you'll get to where you need to go.
There it is. There it is. It's so true. It's so true. Um, well, I was gonna run my mouth after that, but I'll stop there, brother. I appreciate your time, man, and I will
Of course, bro.
end the recording there. Guys, if you're in the school community and you want more videos like this and you want more knowledge from people who are in the business, closing deals, doing 8 deals a month, that are really doing it, let me know. Reach out to Brandon, get any assistance or any help that you need. And if you ever need to reach out to him and you cannot get a hold of him, let me know. I'll be the conduit to bring you guys together. And if you get deals in KCMO, let us know and drop it off at his doorstep. He can make you some money.
Bring them. Let's go.
All right.
You still make